Napoleon Hill discovered that this is the most powerful time of any 24-hour day to program your mind for wealth. What I'm going to reveal now has been hidden for decades, known only to a select circle of millionaires who have used this secret technique to amass fortunes in their sleep. If you're struggling financially, if money seems to slip through your fingers, if you work hard but never manage to truly prosper, get ready, because in the next few minutes, you'll discover the exact protocol that Napoleon Hill secretly used and taught to turn sleep into a money-making machine. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, because this knowledge is so powerful that it could change your financial reality starting tonight. And share it with someone who urgently needs this revelation. Napoleon Hill once said something that most people have never fully understood. The man who cannot master his circumstances in his sleep will never master them while he is awake. This enigmatic statement holds the key to one of the most closely guarded secrets about wealth manifestation. You see, Hill spent more than 20 years studying the richest men of his time: Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and he discovered something disturbing. All of them, without exception, had a secret nightly ritual that they performed religiously before going to sleep. It wasn't just any ritual. It was precise mental technology, a way of hacking the mind's operating system during its most receptive moment. Hill called it the golden incubation period, those precious minutes between wakefulness and sleep, when the doors between the conscious and subconscious are wide open. It's like having direct access to a computer's hard drive, being able to install any program without the system's normal defenses. Think about it for a moment. You spend approximately 1/3 of your life asleep. That's about 26 years out of an 80-year life. Most people waste this precious time, letting their minds wander aimlessly, processing the worries and anxieties of the day. But the truly prosperous have understood that these hours of sleep are actually the most productive period of their lives when scheduled correctly. Napoleon Hill discovered that in that state, between falling asleep and deep sleep, the mind becomes a fertile field for suggestions, and everything you plant at that moment is accepted by the subconscious without resistance. It's as if the mind says, "All right, I accept that as true." And the subconscious, unlike the conscious, doesn't question, judge, or argue. It simply executes. And here's the secret. The subconscious controls 95% of your decisions, behaviors, and results. In other words, whoever dominates the subconscious dominates reality. And that's why Hill insisted, control your thoughts before you go to sleep, and you will control your destiny. Now pay close attention. What I'm going to teach you now is the exact protocol used by Henry Ford, and more recently, adapted by the likes of Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, and other masters of the mind. It's simple, powerful, and works every time it's practiced consistently. I'm going to teach you the golden 5-minute technique. For 5 minutes before going to sleep, you will do the following. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. This activates the parasympathetic system and prepares your mind to receive suggestions. Clearly visualize a specific financial goal. It could be paying off a debt, increasing your income, achieving financial freedom. See it as if it has already been achieved. Feel the thrill of having already achieved it. Make it real. Repeat a powerful phrase, such as, "I'm a money magnet. Wealth flows to me while I sleep." Repeat it with conviction, like someone programming software. go to sleep with this image and feeling. Let it be the last thing your mind accesses before it goes out. By doing so, you send a direct command to the subconscious, which will spend the next few hours processing, organizing, and attracting circumstances, people, and ideas in line with this new programming. Napoleon Hill said, "What the mind can conceive and believe, it can accomplish," especially when you plant that belief at the most fertile time of the day, before bed. Modern neuroscience studies already confirm this. During the first stages of sleep, the brain enters theta and delta waves, deep states of receptivity. This is when the brain consolidates memories, reorganizes learning, and, yes, reinforces emotional and mental commands. In other words, if you sleep with fear, anxiety, or doubt, your mind will spend the night reprogramming these emotions as truths. But if you go to sleep with a clear image of success, wealth, and confidence, the brain begins to accept this as the new base reality. And over time, this changes your behavior, your decisions, your energy, and ultimately your results. Now be careful. Don't just do it once and expect everything to change. Repetition is the mother of reprogramming. Hill said, "You must repeat, repeat, repeat until your subconscious accepts it as truth." And that's when the magic happens. You start making different decisions effortlessly. You start to have ideas, inspirations, and unexpected encounters that seem like coincidence, but which, in fact, are just the universe's response to your mind's new vibration. Remember, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And what you are is defined by what you consistently repeat with emotion. So, before you go to sleep tonight, do the exercise. Visualize, feel, declare. Go to sleep with the certainty that your subconscious is now working in your favor. And when you wake up, the first thing you should do is reaffirm the image you planted. Don't pick up your cell phone. Don't watch bad news. Simply take a deep breath and say, "Thank you, God, because prosperity is already flowing my way." This simple attitude aligns the conscious and subconscious as soon as you wake up, and dramatically accelerates the results. This practice is simple but powerful, and most people don't do it for one reason. They don't believe that something so simple can change everything. But the truth is that what is simple and repeated with faith becomes extraordinary. Look at what Napoleon Hill said. "The human mind is like a garden. If you don't plant flowers, weeds will grow." What have you been planting before bed? What thoughts have you allowed to enter the fertile soil of your nocturnal mind? Doubts? Bills to pay? Fear of the future? Complaining about what you don't have? These are the weeds of scarcity, and if you don't consciously pull them out, they take over. That's why this is the practice I teach my students at the Wealth Club. Every night, before you go to sleep, you will plant 3 mental seeds. Deep gratitude for something you already have. This generates heart coherence and raises your heart rate immediately. A clear visualization of a goal you have achieved. This activates the reticular activating system, the part of the brain responsible for filtering what you perceive in the world. Positive statement in the present. Something like, "Money comes to me easily and happily. I am prosperous by nature." This triad, gratitude, visualization, and declaration, is what reprograms your mind while the world sleeps. And you'll notice something incredible. After a few days, you'll wake up with more energy, more focus, more confidence. New ideas will start to emerge. The right people will appear. Unexpected opportunities will arise. But it's not magic. It's applied science with spirituality. What Hill, Ford, Edison, and so many others understood is that the external world is always a reflection of the internal world. If you change the internal, the external will align. And the best time to do this is before bed. That's when the conscious mind relaxes and the subconscious opens up. It's the moment when you stop fighting and start creating. Now, pay attention to a fundamental point. It's not enough just to repeat words. You need to feel as if it's already real. Hill called this dominant emotion. He said, "It's not the statement that changes your life. It's the emotion you associate with it." So when you say, "I am rich," you need to feel rich at that moment. When you say, "Money comes to me easily," you need to feel the joy of abundance flowing. This feeling is the password. It's what communicates to the subconscious. That's true. You can do it. And the subconscious, like a loyal servant, starts working for you. Now imagine doing this every night for 21 days in a row. You would literally be reshaping your financial identity at the deepest level. And identity is destiny. You don't live what you want. You live what you believe you deserve. And your worthiness is determined by the image you have of yourself. This image is shaped by repetition, emotion, and coherence. That's why the golden 5-minute technique isn't just a nightly habit. It's a process of internal rebirth. It's a process of internal rebirth. You will become someone else inside. And when that happens, the world outside will have no choice but to adapt to your new frequency. Your posture changes. Your gaze changes. Your vibration changes. And money, which previously seemed to run away from you, starts to flow more naturally. Because it's not you who runs after money. It's money that responds to your dominant vibration. Napoleon Hill said, "Wealth begins with a state of mind, a clarity of purpose, and a burning faith." Note, he didn't say that wealth begins with physical effort, with working longer hours, with doing what everyone else does. He said it starts in the mind, and the mind's most fertile period is before going to sleep. Now, you may be thinking, but does this really work for me? The answer is yes, if you practice consistently. There's no point in trying it for 2 nights and giving up. We're talking about reprogramming years, perhaps decades, of scarcity conditioning. This requires discipline, focus, and faith. But the rewards are enormous. You start to build a magnetic field of prosperity around you. People will tell you that you've changed. Opportunities will appear out of nowhere. Business ideas, creative solutions, and right decisions will spring up more easily. And you'll realize that what used to be effort is now flow. Because you've stopped living in survival mode and started living in creation mode. The difference is subtle, but powerful. In survival mode, you react. In creation mode, you choose. In survival mode, you live in fear. In creation mode, you vibrate with purpose. And all this starts 5 minutes before bedtime. Now I want to invite you to a simple but transformative challenge. For the next 7 days, do this ritual every night before bed, without fail, without skipping, even if you're tired, even if you've had a hard day, even if doubt creeps in. Just sit on the bed, close your eyes, and practice. Deep gratitude, visualizing a goal, declaration with emotion. 5 minutes, no more, but with total presence. If you do this, something inside you will start to change. And this internal change will generate a domino effect in all areas of your life. You'll realize that the problem wasn't the world, it was the program running inside you. and that you now have the right code to rewrite your story. Hill said, when the subconscious accepts a plan, it begins to turn it into reality with almost miraculous precision. In other words, the mind is the seed and reality is the fruit. If you change the root, you change everything above ground. And that's what we're doing here, changing the root where it all begins. But beware, you may feel resistance in the first few days. Perhaps your mind will say, "That's silly. It's not working. You're deluding yourself." These voices are just old conditioning trying to stay alive. It's like a computer program that doesn't want to be uninstalled. But you need to be bigger than these voices. You need to be true to your new self, even before you see results. Because results don't come first. The new identity comes first. And it's this identity that pulls the results like a magnet. Remember, you are not poor. You are programmed for scarcity, and that can be reprogrammed. You're not unlucky. You've just been trained to expect the worst, but you can be trained to attract the best. And this training begins in the silence of the night, when everyone is asleep, and you choose to plant the future with awareness. If you've come this far, it's because you're ready to break out of patterns that have limited you for years, ready to access a new level of consciousness and abundance. So, before you go to sleep tonight, turn off the light, take a deep breath, and say with conviction, "I am prosperous. I am guided. Money flows easily to me. While I sleep, my mind is working in my favor. I am reprogramming my reality." Sleep with this vibration, and the world around you will begin to align with it. And if you want to take it to the next level, write this phrase on a piece of paper and put it next to your bed. Let it be the last thing your eyes see before they close. Because what you focus on before you go to sleep, the mind multiplies during the night. And now, I want to know about you. Are you willing to do this ritual for 7 days? Are you committed to reprogramming your mind for abundance? Are you ready to turn your night thoughts into seeds of prosperity? Then comment below, "I accept the 7-day challenge." And share this content with someone who needs to break out of the cycle of scarcity. Remember, change starts from within, and the best time to plant that change is before you go to sleep. Have a good night. Sleep with faith. And wake up with results.